Hi guys, it is Monday, March 4th, and I'm coming to you live at the time of recording. It's about 4 o'clock. I just took a shower. I was freezing, so I thought it's the best way to warm up, not putting more clothes on. Getting under a shower where you can freeze your butt off after you get out of the shower before you get dressed again. Makes sense, right? So I forgot to tell you guys, I do have a bruise from the new injection site from this past one. It's not nearly as bad as my other one though. I'll take a picture and I'll show you what it looks like. It's like, my other one, I'll take a picture of that one too, is like still super discolored. Although now it's going into like the yellowish phase. So it's definitely leaving, but I had that thing forever and it was huge. It's like that big. So it's kind of weird. I have a few nurses in the family, so I'll probably ask one of them what could cause that kind of a injection site bruising. Someone actually commented a couple of videos ago that they hated the way that I injected myself, but then they didn't give any details about what they didn't like about it or how I could have done it better. So maybe the way I'm injecting, I'm being like too tentative with the needle when it goes in. Maybe that causes bruising. I would think the more gentle you are, the less bruising you would get, but I don't know. Who knows? I decided today that I should be keeping track of when I purchase peptides, how many milligrams I'm getting and what the total cost was, so I know for the future, hey, is this a good deal? Is this a good deal? And I've been researching these with my dad, and he's just been paying me for the vials. And I just discovered today that I was actually charging him half of what the vials actually cost. And I'm not going to go back and charge him for the times that he's already paid, because that's my fault. But I thought that was funny. Like, I thought my math was solid when I had figured out how much those were going to be. I'm wondering if maybe I looked at a different purchase and divided that. I don't know. But so I started that. I updated my spreadsheet where I put the date of the injection shots, what I injected myself with, peptide wise, what dose I did, and like the weight on that day. Just eventually I'd like to have kind of like a plotter, just so I can see it. But also it's just for my edification, for my memory of what did I inject myself with and at what dose on what date. So I don't know if you guys do that. I would probably recommend it, especially if you are playing around with dosages. Like if you're always just doing 2.5, then it's whatever. But I've been kind of playing around with what I am dosing with. So I'm not putting on there like when I take my BPC pills, the BPC 157 pills, because that's a nightly thing. And I'll probably do that for at least a month. If not, I think you can do it upwards of 3 months and then stop anywhere from like 6 weeks to 3 months. And then you stop for a while. You can start again in the future if you need to. So I can't really say that I've noticed a change with taking the BPC 157 arginate pills, but I also don't notice anything negative happening at the same time. And maybe there's something going on internally that I'm unaware of. There's another group buy coming up, and it's for the MOTS-C and Humanin, I think is what the two peptides are called. And that's something to do with cellular regeneration, like on a mitochondrial scale. I'm not 100% sure what it's used for or who it's good for, but I've heard a lot of talk about it. So that is probably something that I will want to look into before too long, because that group sale is coming up and I want to participate in it. At the same time, I don't want to introduce too many new things all at once, because how do I know which one it is that is helping with what? I don't feel like, aside from the weight, I don't feel like I have a lot going on health-wise right now that needs to be addressed. But I mean, if there are peptides out there that can kind of refresh your cells and basically de-age you. I mean, that's not a bad thing, right? Or maybe it can help, with joints, and I don't know. I'll have to look into it. I'm just saying, just because I don't have a particular ailment doesn't mean that certain peptides can't help, like holistically, like systemically. So something to look into at least. Oh, so on Netflix, when I was looking around, there's this new movie called Code 8, and it's part 2. So I thought, oh yeah, and I like the guy that's in it. He's also on this Amazon Prime show called Upload, and I really like that one too. So I thought, all right, well, before I see part 2, let's watch part 1. So we started playing part 1, and I thought, this seems really familiar. And as we started watching it, I realized we had watched this either last year or the year before, whenever it came out. And it's a pretty entertaining, action-y type of film. It's about how like 4% of the population have extra abilities. Maybe they can, manipulate fire. They've got electricity that they can manipulate, things like that. But then like there's basically they're outlawed. They're not super allowed to use their powers. And then this guy is having medical issues with his mom, and he needs to make money. So of course he has to turn to crime. So that first one was a pretty good one. And then the sequel, I might like the sequel better than the first one. They're both very entertaining films, good looking cast. The storyline itself was interesting. So it's called Code 8, like code CODE and the number 8. So that one's a pretty good one. And that was on Netflix. Yeah, I don't think it's anywhere else. I think it was directly made for Netflix. So I'm also rewatching Modern Family. I've seen Modern Family so many times. It's one of those shows where if I'm making lunch or making dinner or just have a couple minutes and I just want to watch something, I can throw it on because I've seen it so much. I know what to expect. That's the one thing about watching new films, right? I like to rewatch old stuff because I know what to expect. I know I like this movie. I know, the acting is good and the storyline's good. Other times you watch a film and you're like, ugh, I just wasted 2 hours of my life on this drivel. So sometimes it's hard for me to want to watch something new. And I have a hard time ending TV series. A lot of times I'll go to like maybe the last season or all the way through the last season, except for like the last couple episodes, and then just stop. Drives my husband crazy. But especially if it's good, like maybe I don't want it to end. And if I don't watch those last couple episodes, like Parks and Rec, I've never watched all the way to the end of that one. I think I've watched through season 5 maybe. And I know that there's one more season when Leslie gets like this higher position. Never watched the last season. Because I kind of felt like also they could have ended it at the end of before she, or after she gets elected to this higher position. Anyway, yeah, that's a problem for me. House, never finished House. I watched a lot of that series, and I'll rewatch those every once in a while. But anyway, I digress. So, Modern Family, currently watching that one. Just started Royal Pains. That's on Netflix right now. It's a series. It's been on for like 8 years apparently. Started in 2016, if I remember correctly, from the credits. But that one's kind of funny too. That one's about a New York doctor who gets fired and loses his fiance on the span of, a very short time. So his brother takes him to the Hamptons for like a weekend, and then he ends up staying there, I guess. I don't know. He becomes a concierge doctor, which is basically like an on-call doctor for the rich. So it's kind of funny. It's got some lighthearted moments. But, all right. So health-wise, still have the cold, still coughing, but it's getting better every day, thank goodness. Anxiety is great, not really having to deal with anxiety. Someone commented on a video the other day that my rosy cheeks and the veins that I have in here is actually rosacea. And I thought that the rosiness was rosacea, but I didn't realize that the veins, the spider veins, are part of rosacea as well. So that's something new that I learned. They got rid of theirs with laser therapy. I also read today that microneedling can help with that. And since I do plan on doing microneedling in the near future, maybe that'll take care of it. I certainly hope so, because I don't love the veins. other than that, that's it. Feeling good. Ate too much food today. Again, I've really only, I had cereal this morning, and then I had a lot of little things for lunch, but too much of little things, you know. I could have had probably half of what I ate and been fine, and then maybe felt like eating dinner tonight. As it stands, I doubt that I'll have dinner tonight. I might have like a mandarin orange, those little clementine type oranges. I might have one of those later on, maybe a yogurt, but honestly, I don't need it. So, all right. Well, I will see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully, if I can keep on this roll of the daily videos. Otherwise, I'll see you when I see you.